What I'm holding in my hands is some really nice and niche smelling stuff from the brand of Arabiyat Prestige that's called Qissat Al Najah Nedawi. So let's talk about this one today. Hey guys, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman, and it's time for your dose of some fragrance content. As I said in the beginning of the video, today I'm going to talk about a fragrance from the brand of Arabiyat Prestige, which is called Qissat Al Najah Nedawi. Now this fragrance was part of the PR package from Arabiyat Prestige that I received a couple of weeks ago, and I did a short video about that PR package. So because this was included in that package, it didn't came with its full presentation, meaning I'm not going to be able to show you for example, the box design and all that. I can only show you the way that the bottle looks. This is how the bottle looks. It has more of a standard, more of a traditional, I would say, fragrance bottle look without too much sort of a lavish stuff going on. The bottle is mainly transparent with some golden accents. The cap is white with golden accents. It's a plastic cap, but it's a snug fit to get a secure click. And just like with a lot of other fragrances from the brand of Arabiyat Prestige, you also get a fantastic pressurized sprayer. But these are not the important things about this one. The important thing about this fragrance is the way that it smells. And as I said again in the beginning of the video, this smells really unique and quite niche in my opinion. I'm going to use a couple of sprays on my arm so I can talk about the scent itself. Now, when I got this fragrance and I did a bit of digging, this is supposedly a clone of Rouge Chaotic from the brand of Byredo. Now, I don't have that much experience with the original fragrance. I've tested it only like 1 or 2 times in the past, so I can't really compare this one with the original. I'm not going to try to do that because my memories are not so clear when it comes to the original fragrance, but there might be a bit of mistake here, or maybe someone has been misled when they said that this is supposedly a clone of Rouge Chaotic, because this fragrance reminds me of something else quite a lot, and that something else is actually Oud Maracuja from the brand of Maison Crivelli. Now this is not an exact clone of Oud Maracuja, but definitely this carries a lot of the same notes that I pick up in Oud Maracuja, especially in the opening. The opening of this fragrance is heavy on the spices, it's heavy on the floral notes. There's a rose note used in this one. There's definitely something fruity, sweet going on with this fragrance. There's the note of agar oud, and there's a lot of leather. So, you know, this is in a way very similar to Oud Maracuja. It also reminds me a little bit of things like, let's say, maybe, you know, Ombre Nomade from the brand of Louis Vuitton. It's not super close to Ombre Nomade, it's not so close to Oud Maracuja, but definitely this is like the first thing that popped up in my mind when I tried this fragrance and when I kept testing it. Just how close the opening is, not close, but how much it reminds me of Oud Maracuja. This has a little bit more fruity sweetness than Oud Maracuja, and in a way this reminds me of a fragrance from the brand of Fragrance World, which is called Oud Madness, which is an Oud Maracuja clone with a twist as well, because the opening here is more fruity than, let's say, Oud Maracuja. The opening here smells a little bit like some sort of a fruit wine that's mixed in with some leather, some agar oud and some florals and a hint of spiciness, but overall it's a very interesting, quite an unique opening. And definitely the opening smells very niche. Now the more that this fragrance dries down, the more leathery it becomes. The agar oud is pretty prominent throughout the life of this one. It feels a hint animalic as well, maybe slightly challenging, and that combination of leather, strong leather note and strong agar oud notes definitely smells niche, and probably for a lot of people who don't have that much experience with niche fragrances may feel a little bit challenging. Now the good thing is that there's quite a bit of sweetness. As I said, there's some fruity sweetness, there are some ambers with this one, so that sweetness offsets a little bit the sort of the animalic nature of the leather and oud combo. But this definitely is, I would say, again, a little bit on the challenging side. Definitely smells quite unique, and it's also pretty strong on the leather and agar oud notes. Overall, this is a nice fragrance that I've been digging quite a lot. I really like Oud Maracuja, I like the good clones of Oud Maracuja, and in my opinion this can serve as a very nice alternative. Not a clone of Oud Maracuja, but definitely as an alternative, something done in a similar style, but with a few differences when it comes to the actual scent. The overall quality is great as everything else from the brand of Arabiyat Prestige. There's no alcohol blast or anything like that. As you saw, it has a pressurized sprayer, and you know, overall this smells niche and of high quality. When it comes to performance, it's a strong scent. It's not super beastly, but definitely strong. I'm getting easily 8-9 hours of performance out of it on my skin. On clothes, this lasts at least until the next day. So, you know, total longevity is strong with this fragrance, and also this tends to project quite strongly in the first, I would say, about 2 hours. This creates a really nice sort of a loud scent bubble around the person who wears it. Price wise, the standard price, the usual price for this fragrance is around about 50 euros, but if you can get it on a sale, you can get it for 40 something euros, let's say 10 euros lower than that normal price. So we're looking at about $50 at that price point. If you like fruity, leathery fragrances with a strong agar oud note that smell quite unique, then I would say this is a really good option because it smells niche and it has good performance. And versatility wise, I think this is a unisex fragrance. First of all, perfectly unisex, and also you know, this is a fragrance that I would not wear in like hot weather, but apart from that, you know, you can wear this one in early fall, late spring, at the night time, and throughout the colder months of the year this can be a daily scent as well. And at the end, a very quick final words about Qissat Al Najah Nedawi from the brand of Arabiyat Prestige. This was something really interesting for me to explore and to test, because this was supposed to be a clone of Rouge Chaotic from the brand of Byredo, but to be honest, this reminds me a lot more of Oud Maracuja than that original fragrance from Byredo, which I've tried but don't have too much experience with. That's why I'm not trying to compare it to that original fragrance. But personally, this definitely reminds me a lot of Oud Maracuja. It's not a clone of Oud Maracuja, but done in a very similar style, and in my opinion this can serve as an alternative of Oud Maracuja. It's fruity, it's leathery, it's there's an agar oud note, there's some floral notes with this one, a rose note, you know, a bit spicy in the opening, there's some ambers on the dry down. Feels a little bit more on the challenging side because of that combination, especially of agar oud and leather, but there's enough sweetness in my opinion to offset some of the animalicness that you'll find of that combo, you know, the leather and the agar oud. But still, I think it's a little bit more on the challenging side. If you're not afraid to wear something challenging, then I think this is great. If you are not so experienced with this type of scents, with strong agar oud note, with strong leather note, with a bit of rose going on, then definitely, if you can sample this one, try and sample it. Overall, this was surprisingly interesting for me personally. I really like Oud Maracuja, and I find this to smell quite nice, and it offers the usual high quality that I expect from Arabiyat Prestige, and also quite strong performance. And so guys, in today's video I reviewed a very interesting scent from the brand of Arabiyat Prestige, which is called Qissat Al Najah Nedawi, and this one smells really niche and quite nice in my opinion. I hope that you found today's video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one for your dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.